So good evening and welcome to the relaxation Friday night. You will need a couple of pillows, a duvet, or if you've got a bolster or anything like that, just to make it bigger. Today you probably just might need an eye pillow or a flannel to put over the face. You don't really need your blocks or your towels today, or your bands. So for that one you're okay. We're going to start off in hero pose, but hero pose is a bit of a killer. So if you use your two pillows, you can stuff them between your legs so that you're sitting on them. And if that still doesn't feel great, you can always get the bolster, get the duvet, stick the duvet on and sit down, make it even bigger so that your legs are nice and protected. You feel nice and comfortable in the position you're in. It'll help to keep your pelvis, if I do it that way, it'll help to keep your pelvis into a nice spine. It stops it from curling in that direction. It kind of holds you in this. So this is a beautiful, hero is a beautiful position to sit in, but most of the time it hurts your knees and your feet. So again, if you wanted, you could always pad underneath the ankles. You could pad underneath the toes if they hurt. Now with the toes, sometimes sitting in this position, your toes feel as if they're being pushed together. If you can stretch them out, that'll help as well. So if you've got any corns or anything, it kind of pulls them out and away from there. But it helps you to sit in the right position. So we're going to sit and just do a few breathes. Turn it this way. A bit of breathing just to bring us here. So we're going to breathe in, lifting our arms up. And breathe out, bringing our arms down. Kind of stretch up, stretching the ribs, looking up as if you're being pulled up, and then breathing out, emptying them lungs. Breathing again. And breathe out. Let's do two more. Breathing in. And breathing out. And our last one. And then we're bringing our breathing back and our shoulders back to normal. So we're going to bring our hands and place them on top of each other as if we're having a bowl. And if we can bring our thumbs together, we can place them together as well. We're bringing our shoulders down and we're going to do our neck stretches. So we're going to tuck our chin right down towards our chest. We're going to hold it here and try and pull the elbows towards the floor. Then we're going to roll our head to the side. Bringing our ear towards our shoulder, but not going all the way around, just going to the side, rolling it over towards the other side. So we're bringing our ear as if it's going diagonal down towards our shoulder. We're just feeling that stretch right across as it goes across the back of the body, back through the shoulders, feeling it right into the neck, into the skull. And then we're going to bring it back to our centre and lift the head up. So we're going to take it back. We're lifting our chin up and we're going to do the same thing. We're just rolling the head towards the shoulder. But there's no stress on the front of the neck. There's no pinching at the back. If you want, you can always support the head with your hand. But it's just as if you're looking up and following something across the sky. And then we're bringing it back to our centre and bringing it back up. So we're going to do a circle of joy. We're bringing our fingers together and we're starting off with our right finger, little finger right at the bottom. We're going to push out. So I'm going to turn around to the other side so you can watch what's happening with my lower body. So we're pushing out, we're tilting the pelvis under, we're breathing out, we're pushing forward. We're breathing in, we're lifting our arms up, stretching back. Then as we breathe out, we're taking our arms all the way back, stretching them back, pulling the shoulder blades together, pulling the hands all the way round to the front, back into prayer. So now we're going to bring our left little finger, comes to the bottom. We're breathing out again, tilting that pelvis. Feel the stretching, breathing in. As we lift the arms up, we're taking them back. We're still reaching that arm back as we're breathing out. The pelvis is tilted forward. We're stretching back. We're bringing it all the way back in. And our hands together in prayer. So again, the right finger goes to the bottom. Breathing out. Breathing in. Tilting the pelvis. Breathing out. Pulling them shoulder blades together. Rolling the spine. Last one. Little left finger at the bottom this time. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And breathing in. Lovely. Hold it there. Oh. No, it's no one to do. It's nothing to do with us. So we're going to bring these from underneath us. Throw them to the side. And we're bringing ourselves to sit down onto our bottom. We're going to lift, bring our left leg up and we're going to grab hold of it with our right hand. And both hands are going out. We can bend that knee, pulling it back. We're going to try and push the leg forward and hold on to it with our right hand. If it doesn't go straight, that's okay. But we're taking the other hand out and we're turning and we're looking behind. So lift leg and twist. And then we're bringing our hand back round. And we're taking the leg back down. We're going to change it up on the second one. So bringing the right leg in, grab hold of it with both hands. See if we can push it out a bit. It doesn't matter if it doesn't go straight. We're leaving the opposite hand on and we're taking the other hand behind, looking behind us. And we're bringing the hand back in. And we're bringing the foot down. So this time we're going to lift up, twist, but we're going to bring the foot down and bring the arm over so that we're looking to the side. We're then turning and bringing ourselves forward. And then we're lifting up. Okay? So it's 3 moves, a complete movement in one. So let's bring that leg in. We're pushing out. Now again, you can keep that leg bent. If it won't go out, it'll still feel that stretch through the hamstring. We're taking the hand out and round to the back. Hold it here. Feeling that stretch through the back of the leg and also through the waist and through the back. We're going to take the foot down, and as we do, it'll bring us up and over. We bring the arm over by the ear. Keep looking to the side. You feel the stretch right through the shoulder blade. And then we're going to roll all the way round so that we're looking towards our knees. And then we're breathing in to lift up. And breathing out, bringing it down. Let's try the other side. So pull the leg in. Push it out as far as it can go. Keeping hold with the opposite hand. Take the other arm out and round to the back. Hold it here. Feel that twist. Bring the foot down, bring the arm over by the head, as if your ear's going down towards your knees. And then rotate back round, let the head drop towards the knee. And breathing in, lift the arms up. Breathe out, bring it down. So we're going to go into cradling lotus. We're keeping the one leg out. We're going to lift the leg up, hold on to the foot, and we're pulling the leg in towards us. We can bring that hand around the leg, but we can leave this hand where it is. So we're just rocking as if we're rocking a baby. You'll feel it starting to pull on the hip. You're trying to rock back so that you feel it pulling right through the inside of the thigh as well. Now we're going to take the foot and place it on the opposite side of the knee. We're pushing the foot in, grabbing hold of the leg with the opposite hand and taking the other one round by our bum. And breathing out, looking over our shoulder. And then we're bringing ourselves back to centre. So let's change legs. So again, bringing in the opposite leg. Bring the opposite hand, place it on the heel. Bring the other hand around the knee. Pull that leg towards you. And then rock the baby. Bring it over the top of the leg. Push it away. Grab hold of it. Take the arms around by the base of the spine, push up, breathe out, look over the shoulder. And bring it back round. Let's try one more. So lifting up, hand there, hand here. Now if you can, see if you can slide it a little bit further so that that foot ends up in the elbow. If it doesn't go, keep it back on the foot. but you're still pulling that foot in. This way. So we're still rocking that baby. And then we're going to drop it over the other side of the foot. Push it away, grab hold. Take the hand round by the bum. Lift up and look over the shoulder. And then bringing it back round. Last one. So bringing the foot in either at the heel or if we can into the elbow. And then bringing that hand round the knee. Give it a rock. And then we're bringing it down. We're grabbing hold. We're taking it round by the bum. Lifting ourselves up. Looking over the shoulder. And then bring it back round to the front. So we're going to do our adapted sun salutation. On our hands and knees, we're going to go, as we breathe in, into cow, into cat, into dog, into cobra, into child. Okay? So we're moving through that. Lovely. Here we go. So we're going to breathe in and pull the shoulders back, push the chest down, stick the bum up in the air into cow. We're breathing out. We're turning everything opposite way. We're tucking our toes and jumping up into down dog as we've gone from cat. We're coming down onto our knees. We're bringing our chest to the floor. We're sliding our hips down. We're rolling up to cobra. We're pushing back to child. We're coming up as we're breathing in to cow. Breathing out into cat, into dog. We're going to breathe in as we lift to cobra. And we're breathing out as we go to child. Let's do 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Our last one. In. And out. And in. Good. And out. Stay here, turn your palms over. And then we're bringing ourselves up. So we're going to go into extended puppy or Harvey puppy. Now this is puppy, that one that we do that with our chest down. So this is a bit of a nicer version of it. You can use 2 pillows or 2 pillows and your quilt if you want to. You can make it as high or as low as you want. You're bringing it so that it comes underneath your hips. And you're on your knees at first. You're placing your hips down. Then you're letting your chest go down and you're pushing your chin onto the floor. So you can have it low. If it's nice and easy, you can make it a little bit harder and a little bit more on that back by lifting it up a bit high, so making it really high. So again, the hips go over the top, your legs go down, you're pushing your chest to the floor. You can have your hands up in front where you're trying to put your chin. Oh, I'm going to have to come back a little. So you're going down, you're pushing your chest down, but your chin's going on the floor. You can take your hands in front, letting your body drop down. So with this, we're trying to let the body relax. We're trying to breathe into the back of the body. I'm going to put some ambient music on, if I can. I can't remember how to work my thingy. Don't know why it won't come on. Why won't you come on? No ambient music. So just breathing into your back. So as you're lying there, letting the chest drop down, we're breathing into the spine, into the upper back. Breathing out, letting everything drop down. Feeling your armpits drop. Now this is great for your lower back. Again, if you've been sitting all day, it just relaxes everything down. Relax your feet. With every breath out, just feel as if you're being pushed down. You may want to move your hands out. You may feel your chest wants to drop down a bit more. Your armpits want to drop down. Everything just relax in the body. Letting the belly feel as if it wants to melt down to the floor as well. The shoulders feel as though they want to roll back. The neck feels as if it's stretching. Feel that air coming from the base of the spine, working its way up. Stretching the lungs through the back, stretching the intercostal muscles, feeling the shoulder blades widen as you breathe in right to the top. And you get big breaths into the back. Now we're going to start thinking about coming out of this, but we're not going to push too quickly. We're just going to move our hips and move our shoulders. Our body knows it's going to move. We bring our hands down underneath our shoulders. We're going to tilt our head and put the top of our head on the floor. And stay here for a second. We'll feel that stretch through the back of that neck, that release on the chin. Now we're going to push onto our knees and lift ourselves up. Lovely. So we're going to turn it round and do a supported bridge. So staying sort of where it is, we're going to turn ourselves around the opposite way. We're bringing it underneath our hips. And this time we're letting ourselves roll back. You can keep the knees up if you want, and you're letting the arms out. If you want to, you can take that leg and bring them flat down and just let the body relax down. This time we're feeling the breath all the way through the front of the body. So starting right in that lower abdomen, lifting up. Again, let them feet roll out to the side. Relax the head. As you're breathing in, feel as if it's pushing the hips at the front out. It's coming up, it's stretching right through the waist. Stretching the rib cage, pulling it out. It's stretching across the shoulders. And as you're breathing out, it feels as if everything's dropping down. The legs feel heavy, the hips feel heavy. The shoulders feel as if they want to drop into the floor. Feeling that stretch, feeling that breath in. If it feels too much on that lower back, you can always bend them knees. If it feels like it's pinching or hurting anything, or you get any kind of numbness in the legs, then bring the legs back up. Otherwise, let the body relax down. In that breath, come all the way up through the chest, stretching the chest out. Breathing out, it's just falling back down. Everything feels heavy on a breath out. Just focusing on that breath. Try and count it if you want. 1 in, 2 out. And we're trying not to let the thoughts enter the mind and do anything. Just imagine them, they're thoughts. Just acknowledge them, past, present, future. Go back to feeling what the breath in and breath out is doing to the body. What's happening around your hips, what's happening with the legs, what's happening with the back. If you're on a computer all day, this is kind of the opposite way to everything if you're sitting down. I'm going to sort out music properly for next week so that we've got something to listen to, so you're not just listening to me, to make sure I haven't frozen and disappeared on you. Like I said, you can always have your own music playing. So again, we're going to make sure that we know that we're coming out of this. So the first thing we're going to do is to bend our knees and bring our feet flat down onto the floor. And then we can just let our knees go from side to side. Start moving the shoulders, moving the stomach. And then we're going to roll onto our side to come out. And then from here, we can bring ourselves back up. I'm going to get my finger out, I'm not watching the time properly. So we're going to work on that lower back a bit more. So this is lizard pose. Now with this, we're bringing 1 foot forward and bringing our hands onto the inside. But we're going to bring our padding and bring it alongside our foot. And then we're going to let our elbows just drop down and rest on the blankets and the padding, and just let ourselves relax here. That knees bent, we're letting the hips drop down. You can let the head drop if you've got a block and you want to rest your head. You can bring the block under and place your head on the block to let it relax. Or if you haven't got a block, you can just bring your hands up and let your head relax in your hands. We're just letting our hips drop down. So they're pushing into the floor, they're melting forward. Now if your right leg's up, you're going to try and breathe into your left lung. So the opposite lung. Breathing into that left side, trying to stretch. But as well as the left, it's also the front and the back, as well as the side. Just letting ourselves relax down, letting the hips melt. If it feels pressure under the knees, you could always put a towel or a bit of padding underneath that knee at the back if it feels uncomfortable. Bring that breath into that side of the lung. Or even try and breathe into the joints in the hips or the legs. Again, this is lovely for the sciatic muscle, the sciatic nerve. It pulls and stretches it. But also that psoas, which tends to shrink as we're sitting down. It stretches that as well. You should feel as if it's starting to melt a bit more. The muscles through the bum seem to stretch a bit, the muscles in the back of the leg. Then we're going to think about coming out, so we're going to start moving the legs, moving the hips, bringing our hands down to the floor, lifting our body up, pushing back, taking that leg back under. We can push back to our child if we need to, just to relax them legs. Letting the head relax down. We're going to bring it back up and we're going to change legs. So we're taking that left leg up to the outside of our hands. You might be able to move that back leg back a bit more if you want. We can bring our hands onto our padding. Like I said, either use your hands to hold your head. Put a block there to hold your head, whatever feels easier for you, whatever you've got available. Close the eyes. If it's the left leg that's bent up, then you're going to breathe into the right lung. into the sides, into the back, into the front. Letting everything relax down. Imagine the body melting towards the floor. You may find that the legs want to move after a bit. They might not, they might want to stay where they are, and that's fine. Just concentrating on the breathing. If you want, like I said, count the breath, 1 in, 2 out. Any thoughts come into the head, label them. Other thoughts or past, present, future. Try not to go with them. Think about the areas that you can feel the stretch. Can you imagine breathing into that area? If you think about it, does it feel it widen as you breathe in? Does it relax as you breathe out? Does it feel as if your body wants to melt a bit more? And so we're going to start to move. And again, our hips move a little. Then lifting our head up. Bringing our hands underneath our shoulders. Pulling our leg in. Taking ourselves down to child. And then we're going to bring ourselves back up. So we're going to take it into a pigeon pose, which again is great for lower back, great for sciatic problems, anybody that's sitting down. So it's a similar one to that we did last week, a little bit different. So with this one, we're taking our folded up, not very well folded today, our folded up quilt. And we're going to come into it again from down dog. So we're bringing ourselves up. We're bringing our leg around as much as we can around the front. And we're placing this underneath our hip. Then if we've got our pillows, we can have our pillows in front of us. And we bring ourselves down onto the pillow. If you want, you can higher the head up a little bit further. Wherever feels better for you. You can look in the same direction as the knees bent. You can look in the opposite direction. But you just want your body to drop down as much as you can. And with this, we're doing our hummingbird. So we breathe in. Filling the whole lungs through the front, the back, the sides, all the way from the bottom to the top. And then as you're breathing out, you hum. Again, we're going to start thinking about coming out of this position. So we just start moving the hips a little bit, moving the shoulders, bringing our hands underneath our shoulders. We're going to tuck our toe at the back. We're going to lift ourselves up so we're looking forward. We're going to push back up into down dog. Give that leg a little stretch. Oh. Then we're bringing the opposite leg in. So it's going around. We're pulling that one underneath our hip. We're bringing our pillows and cushions underneath our belly. Lying ourselves down again. The head can turn towards the leg. It can turn away from the head. It's whatever feels more natural, more nice to you. And again, so we're breathing all the way into the body, filling the lungs right from the bottom all the way to the top. We can mess around with that, that breathing, so the humming. So we can change the pitch, we can change the tone. What difference does it feel? Does it make any difference with the different tones? Does it feel different through the lungs? Do you feel like you're gripping any part of the shoulders or the lower back? Are you gripping your teeth? Is it longer with a lower pitch or shorter with a lower pitch? Does it make you have to work harder or easier doing a higher pitch? These are questions that we ask ourselves when we're doing stuff like that. So again, we're focusing our mind on the here, the now, and not letting it run off into the past and the present and the future. So again, we're going to wiggle our bum. We're going to wiggle our shoulders. We're going to bring our hands under our shoulders. We're pushing our chest up. We're tucking our toe. We're lifting up and stretching that leg out. Ugh. And then we're bringing ourselves back down onto our knees. And let yourself drop into child. And we're going to bring ourselves into our corpse position. And we're going to do our relaxation from here. So you can always have your pillow, your blanket ready. But you're going to bring your 2 pillows this time and you're having them under your knees. Then you're letting yourself relax down. Now, like I said, if you want, especially if it's quite cold, if you want to make yourself nice and warm, get your quilts. This is the best, or your duvet. This is the best thing about duvet yoga. You can just put it over the top of you afterwards. So you can let yourself relax. If you've got a eye pillow, you can always put your eye pillow over your eyes, or a flannel, or a blanket, anything as long as it's just resting on your eyes. So you want your legs to fall out, and you're going to turn your palms over. You're breathing in through the nose, and you're breathing out through the nose. Make sure that your chin's not sticking up in the air, that your chin's tucked down so the neck feels long. You should feel as if your shoulder blades are rolling out, your chest is rolling out. You're filling up from the bottom of the lungs, through the back and the front and the sides. It's coming into the middle of the lungs, the front, the back, the sides. The breath's coming all the way up towards the collarbone and to the back of the shoulder blades. As you breathe out, everything relaxes. We're going to bring our thoughts into our toes, and the bones of our toes. We're going to imagine them turning into steel. The big toe starts to get cold and heavy, the toe next to it. Then it moves to the middle toe, to the 4th toe, and the little toe. Then that cold metal, heavy steel starts to seep into the bones of the foot, all up the front of the leg. The coldness then enters into the ankle. The ankle becomes heavy. Cold steel passes up through the bone and the front bottom of the leg. And then into the knee joints. They become heavy. The bone of the top of the leg becomes cold and heavy. It seeps into the hip bone, all around the back, and then it comes round to the front of the pelvis. And then it starts to seep into the spine from the coccyx, moving up through the lower back of the spine. Goes cold and feels as if it's being dragged to the floor. Coldness spreads up through the spine, into the ribs, at the back, and then it starts to curl round, sides, into the front of the ribs, into the sternum, up the chest bone, carries up through the back, into the shoulder blades, become heavy, the chest through the chest bone, across the shoulders, down through the arms. The elbows become steel and heavy, goes into the forearm, into the wrists, into the fingers, the thumbs. That heaviness carries on up into the neck, into the jaw, so heavy that it just drops open. Still feeling, the cold feeling goes around the cheekbones, through the nose, the eye socket, through the scalp, the back of the head. As if every bone in the body weighs a ton, like you can't even lift your hands, your fingers, your feet. Everything feels as if it's just so heavy. It's dropping down into the floor. But then the skin on the face starts to feel light. The skin feels warm. And it's as if the skin of the face is lifted off the head, off the jaw, the cheeks. The skin around the neck becomes light, as if it's filled with air. It wants to lift up. The skin along the shoulders and the chest, through the front of the arms, and the palms of the hands, around the ribs. Feels as if they're coming and moving away from the ribs. They're floating in the air. The skin around the stomach seems to lift. The skin around the hips seems to feel as if it's pulling away from the hips and the bones. And there's a lightness around the waist, as if the waist wants to push up towards, just lift off to the floor. It's filled with helium. It wants to move, but the bones are so heavy they're keeping it down. The skin and muscles around the thighs seem to lift away from the bone. The skin of the calves, the muscles around the lower leg, they want to lift off. Skin around the feet. As if two opposing forces. The bones are so heavy, but the skin is just light. And just keep this feeling of lightness of the muscles and the skin, the heaviness of the bones keeping you down, but it's as if the stomach wants to lift, the chest wants to lift. Just feel this beautiful feeling running through the body. Lightness and heaviness. And now we're going to start to feel movement through the fingers and through the toes. As if the heat of the skin is melting and softening the metal of the toes and the fingers. Starting to melt into the fingers and the feet, into the wrists and the ankles, through the legs and the forearms, into the hips and the shoulders, feeling movements through the chest and the back, through the waist and the head, the neck, And then we're going to take our arms and we're going to reach them over our head and stretching our fingers and our toes. And then we're going to pull our knees up towards our chest and give ourselves a hug and just rock side to side. And then we're going to roll over onto our side and just stay here for a few seconds. There's no need to rush. And if you wanted, you could stay there. You don't have to get up. I do, unfortunately. Otherwise I'm going to lose you. So, we're bringing ourselves back up to seated. Oh. Let's have a big stretch out. Breathe in. Stretch up. Oh, breathe out. Bringing it down. Let's try another one. Breathe in. And breathe out. And our last one. Bringing our hands together and bring them down. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to give a little wave to Savannah. Hey, Savannah. Oh, I've lost you. And I'm going to say good night. So I'm going to end it there.